What's going on, everybody? I'm your boy, Retro Bliss, and you are on the Retro Bliss Rewind podcast. And we are going to have a very special podcast tonight. This is going to be kind of a reunion podcast, and I won't explain exactly what it is until I get our panel and our guest tonight. So we're going to have Mike from Mike's Gaming Gala on, and Mr. Poestyle and Dr. Scott.
Hello.
We have this panel on here. We're actually missing one more, and it's Ballistik Coffee Boy. Ballistik Coffee Boy was supposed to be on here, but he's not feeling too good today. We're praying for him and hope that he feels better. He was supposed to be on tonight, but he could not make it. We're praying for you, brother. Hope you feel better. Last June, I was streaming one day. I do a live stream around lunchtime every day, and I was live streaming a game. And in the chat, one of my viewers said, "Congratulations on being nominated for YouTuber of the Month." And it was towards the end of the month, and I'm like, "What? What is that?" And so he kind of explained it to me, and he sends me a link to the website, or to the YouTube link to Chris's video there. And so I looked at it and I watched the video, and there was a guy there who had won YouTuber of the Month the previous month, and he had nominated me to be YouTuber of the Month for the month of June, amongst 4 other nominees. And the way you win is people had to vote within the comments. The problem was you had till the end of that month, and there were like 3 days left, and you could solicit your own votes. And so I contacted Chris, who ran YouTuber of the Year or month last year. He was YouTuber of the Year last year. He ran the thing, and I contacted him, and he explained the rules to me and how it worked. And he said, "Yeah, but you let people know that to vote for you." So I baked cookies and went door to door and everything, and asked people to vote for me. And
oatmeal, get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. And but there were votes for me in there, and I won. And so the rules were, as a winner, I had to nominate 5 others. 5 others. So you see all my fingers and thumbs. And one of the rules was that I had to nominate an international nominee. So, but the thing of it is, I started looking around, and there are a ton of YouTubers out there that have gaming channels, and they had to be less than 1,000 subscribers. And I started looking around, but I just didn't think they had what it took to be. I wanted some quality people, and so I started looking around, and
thanks. I'll see you later then.
Well, it just so happened that one of the guys who tuned into the show all the time was Ballistik Coffee Boy, and he had a channel, and I knew he had a channel, and I had subscribed to a channel, but I'm gonna be real honest, I didn't really have the time to really check out his channel a whole lot, and I thought, well, I'm looking, so I looked at his channel. I thought, dude, this guy's got a lot of stuff going on. He had that Atari show, he had Espresso going on, and I started looking around, and I asked him. Yeah, I asked him.
He seems, he has a lot going on.
A whole lot.
Yeah.
And so I asked him, and he came out and he told me, he said, "Phil, I would love to be nominated." He said, "But there's a problem." He said, "I was nominated last year. I don't think I can." So I contacted Chris, and he said, "Well, he was nominated last year." He said, "But he can be renominated in a new year." So I told Brian, his name's Brian. I told Brian, and he said, "Well, sure." So he was nominated. Well, then my second thought was, wait a minute, my old buddy Poe, Patrick down there, Mr. Poestyle, and I have been friends since I started my channel. We've been friends since way back,
Right.
And so I contacted him and asked him if he would be interested, and of course he's like,
I guess.
I guess so. You know,
Do I have to do something?
Yeah, I'm not baking cookies, but okay, So I thought, because he's got a great channel. Which, by the way, all of these guys' channels, including Ballistik Coffee Boys channels, are in the description. You guys need to check them out and subscribe if you're watching this for the first time.
100%.
100%. So I nominated him. So I had 2 down, 3 to go. So I'm looking for another one, and I started searching on YouTube, and I looked and I saw this guy down here, Dr. Scott, and I saw him, and the reason why his got my attention was because he had done a review for a controller that our buddy Brian from BD RetroMods had done, and I had I purchased a few controllers from Brian.
Couple.
Yeah.
He's putting his kids through college.
Yeah. and so I thought, well, I'm going to check it out, because I had never seen any of Game Closet's videos before. And so I checked that video out. And so then I went to the channel itself and I started perusing through. And there's this one video that really got my attention. And
it stung to you.
Yeah. And which one was that, Scott?
I have a feeling it's my Pac-Man video.
It was the Pac-Man video. He did this Pac-Man video, and he really, I loved it, man. He really, if anybody who watches the channel knows that I loathe the Atari 2600 version of Pac-Man. It is horrible. And he must loathe it too, by the way. He really, you guys got to subscribe to his channel and check that video out. It's an amazing video. It's just awesome, very well produced, and it's very entertaining. Get your popcorn out to watch that bad boy. And so but I didn't know how to get a hold of him, so I got a hold of Brian, and I said, do you know Scott? And he's like, yeah. So I got a hold of his information, and we talked. I think we talked like 2 hours that day, man. We talked for a long time. Yeah, we talked for a long time. So anyway, so 3 down, 2 to go. So I'm thinking, I need an international person. So I do some homebrew reviews on the channel, and one of the programmers that I did a review for, his name is Ricardo Pim, and he's from Portugal or Brazil. Brazil. So I get a hold of him, and I asked him if he knew any YouTubers that I could, nominate. And so he tells me about Mike over here. I was making sure I was pointing in the right direction. It's actually on my left.
Isn't that hard to do? You're like,
it is. I did it right though. I did it correctly. So, I start checking out his channel, and dude, I was amazed by his channel, because his intros especially are very entertaining as well. And so I got a hold of Mike and asked Mike, and I believe at the time, I think Mike only had maybe like 350 subscribers at the time, maybe something 380,
370 something
like that. It wasn't very many. Of course, he had only been
I started last January.
Yeah, so he had, so this was
so about 5 months in.
He's only 5 months in, so
yeah,
very new. So he was down. So, but I'm thinking, but I still need my international, because I didn't think Ricardo Pim knew exactly what I was asking. I thought he was American. So I'm looking around. So I have 4 down. I still had to get my international one. So I'm looking around, and I look, and I find this guy. You guys know I love Atari on the show. I love Atari on the show, and I see this guy. He has a channel. It's called Maniaco's Poor Atari, and I couldn't understand a word this guy was saying, but on his channel he had so many Atari cartridges, and I mean some that I've never seen before. Labels I've never seen before, but I knew they were all Atari. He had all kinds of hardware for Atari, and he had so many reviews for Atari. And I knew that he had even some of Ricardo's games that he had done reviews for on his channel and everything. And he was just so exciting in what he was saying. And I thought, you know what? I don't know. I'm just gonna ask him. So I went and I did Google Translate. And I asked him on one of his comments on one of his videos, asked him if he was interested. I explained to him what it was and asked him if he was interested. And he said, yes. He said, yes, I'd be interested. And so there's my 5. There's my 5. So I get a hold of Chris. And I let Chris know which 5 they are. And I had to make a video. So I had to make a video, and I make this video, and I thought it was fairly well done. And I showcased all you guys. I thought I showcased all you guys fairly well. Chris
I'd just like to mention, I really liked the one line that you did in our intro video when you were talking about me, and you're like, he may seem like a showboat, but he actually knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. So anyway, So what happened was, I got to do something real quick. Okay, I was just checking the chat for a minute. Okay, so what happened was, the month went on, and so after that, I had you guys were done. Now I still kept in contact with you guys, and whatnot, but I had to be impartial for the whole month.
Right.
Which is harder than you think.
You guys don't know how hard that is, because at that point, that's when the friendships. Now Poe and I were already friends, and me and Ballistik Coffee Boy were already friends. But you guys, you two, Scott and Mike, we were starting to become friends. You know, how do you have a conversation and be encouraging, but yet not say something that, you know what I mean?
Try not to be influential. Yeah.
But that month was just so exciting for me, just to see what was going on and to watch all the comments that were going on and seeing who was getting votes and all this other things. And so that for me, that was one of my most favorite months of being a YouTuber, just to seeing what was going on in that month. So
it was an exciting month. Yeah.
So what happened with you guys after that?
Well, the Miss America pageant, they contacted me, and I'm Miss Ohio now. And well, first of all, I want to say, you know, of all of the channels that were nominated, I mean, it was great just to be nominated by you, and I mean, I really appreciated it. And you said, you know, go out there and you know and campaign hard, and I wasn't going to bake any cookies, but I did 3 videos. And it looked like Ballistik Coffee Boy Brian he looked like he was just gonna take it off, and not saying anything against anybody, including the gentleman from Portugal who I can't remember his name. You've said it 3 times already.
Maniacos Poratari.
Yeah. But I mean, all of us are capable, but I think the person who probably should have won actually did win, because I really think that Mike does a wonderful job. He's come in really swinging, and I think that he is doing something that nobody else who's done this has ever done before. I mean, plus he's integrating the Doctor Who stuff, which of course I'm a big Doctor Who nerd. Well, I used to be until Jodie Whittaker came along, but we won't get into that. But anyway, but you know, I think Mike's doing such an exceptional job doing it, and it makes me glad that I didn't win it, because I couldn't have come up with anything anywhere half as good as what he's doing now. So
I appreciate that.
And I really enjoy watching it.
Yeah, from my perspective, it was like, and one of the things, and we'll probably get more into this as we talk about the competition and what we feel about it and all that. I really, like, as host now, my biggest hope in any given month is that the contestants from that month have the same experience that we had. And because the fact of the matter is, like, if you're all nominated by the same person, odds are you are of a similar taste of channel. Like, people, like, for instance, Retro Bliss is a Atari guy, you know, primarily an Atari guy. So all of his nominations had something Atari. So we have stuff in common already, just by virtue of the fact we were all nominated by one person with specific tastes. And so the first thing that I did after, like, because I had never heard of the competition, I went and I checked out all your guys' channels. And I loved all your channels. I instantly subbed to all of them. And one thing that I noticed that is pretty rare, at least it's only happened once in the 4 months that I've hosted. I didn't notice it many times when the Real Bit Wars, Chris was hosting it. I think we all voted. Like, you can't vote for yourself, but I know BCB voted for Mr. Poe. Mr. Poe voted for Mr. BCB. It was tough for me because I had never heard of any of your channels, but I voted for Mr. Poestyle. And I don't know if you voted, Scott, but it was one of those things where it was just, at the end of the day, YouTuber of the Month is not a competition of who's the best channel. It has never been a competition of who's the best channel. It's a nice community activity to put more eyeballs on small gaming channels. And if you win, great. But it's just whoever is able to, who goes door to door with the cookies, who is that annoying guy on Facebook that messages absolutely every single one of his friends and says, go to this thing and vote for me. And so, as host, there's two things that I'm looking for every month. I'm always looking for who might be a good YouTuber of the year next year. And I'm always just hoping that at least some of them get the same kind of experience that we got, because I consider all of you friends. I think I've been on all of your channels. Via the podcast, you've all been, me simulcasting this, you've all been on mine. And I've got some ideas for intros that would incorporate some of you guys. So it was the first time I ever felt like I was part of a community, and that has stayed. And that's the biggest thing that I took from YouTuber of the Month.
Yeah, I mean, until I started live streaming, I honestly, the person that kind of connected me with Poe and some of the other guys that Poe and I are friends with, until I started connecting with those guys, I thought when I was going to be YouTubing, I was just going to be solo.
Yep.
I didn't realize it was a community. I really didn't. I didn't realize it was a community. But it really is a community. And the more that you're out there and the more that you network with other people like this, the more that you realize that how much of a community that it really is. And you really have to kind of get yourself out there to realize that it is. Does that make sense?
Oh,
if you're not networking, you're not going to be part of it.
Yeah, I saw comments, not so far this year, but last year I remember there was a couple of Chris's videos where some guy would come on, is like, I was nominated for YouTuber of the Month, I didn't get any subs out of it. And my view is, like, if you're simply there to get more subs and not to be a part of a community, then you will get no subs. You will, like, if you're not checking it out, checking back in every month. One of the greatest things is seeing, guys like Zenbloke, who's a big part of the community. He comes in and he votes every month. Marco's Blind Gaming, The Real Bit Wars is in there. Generation Pixel, who hosted it before him. Do You Nerd. These are guys that I see come in every single month. They're not even technically a part. They're not eligible to be nominated. They're not, but they come and they participate it because of the community thing.
That brings me to something that I'm kind of guilty of, because I watch the videos, and whenever I'm watching the videos, I'm usually doing something else, and I've got headphones in, and it's not like I can grab the phone and go, okay, I want to vote for this person. And then by the time the month goes by, I'm like, oh crap. So I've literally voted for nobody. And it's just like, I was going to vote for this person or that. No, I'm guilty of that, because like I said, my hands are usually full with something, doing something else or whatever. So yeah. I'm like, I feel like I'm a lurker going, oh, look at these channels, but
which is great. And you know what? Stuff. That's what it's about. Like I said, it's just, and there's a gentleman that's nominated, about 3.5 hours this month. Voting wraps up, and he's nominated, and he's a small, newer channel, and I've noticed him. He got a little bump, and he's been doing pretty well in the votes. So, like I said, like if you get out of it what you put into it. Off grid. Oh, Bart. And you should check out your fellow nominees, and you should check back in. Stay a part of that community. So yeah, I kind of forget where I was going with that, but it's it was with, yeah. Okay, now I remember. It's about the eyes, right? And, we've all posted videos, and it gets, 200 views, and it's showed to 4,000 people. So you've got like this small percentage. So if this puts another 100 eyes on your channel, even if we only get 2 or 3 subscribers, I've noticed that subscribers that I gained through the YouTuber of the Month competition and through the YouTuber of the Year competition are active subscribers. They comment because they're community members.
Can I say some things to some people who are watching, that, because I know you really heavily advertise this episode on your channel, and being YouTuber of the Year and having the YouTuber of the Month duties. For those of you guys who have channels and you're really wanting to grow your channels, first of all, I've had my channel a little over 2 years, and I am monetized. I've only been monetized for maybe about 6 months or so, and it's growing. But I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not going to be able to quit your job doing a YouTube channel anytime real soon.
No,
and
wait, I already did.
You already did. Yeah, I don't think that's. No. But I mean, even people like John Hancock and those guys, they're not. I don't think they're really making a killing. John Hancock still has a full-time job teaching. I don't think those guys really make a big killing with their channel. I know they make a lot more than I'm making on the channel. My point being is, when you're doing this channel, you need to do it for the passion and for the love of it. And whatever you're doing, you need to be focused on what you're doing. Don't try to like my focus. I found that if I try to do too many, if I try to spread it out, like I like gaming, but if I try to do the Atari thing, and then I'm trying to do the Xbox Series X thing, if I'm trying to go from one extreme to the other, then things, my whole channel starts getting chaotic, and I'll lose subscribers. If I start doing like the later gen stuff, I start losing subs. So I found that my early gen episodes do better for me, but that's me because I'm an old dude.
Well, but that's also your niche, though.
And that's because that's my niche, right? So, but for you, it may not be. You know, it just depends on who you are and what your passion is. So just do what you do. Do what you do. Do your passion and stick with it and be passionate for what you do and make your mistakes. Don't be afraid to make your mistakes, because don't wait and say, you know, well, when I get better, then I'll do it. No, just get out there and do it. You'll find that as you go and make your mistakes, you'll learn from your mistakes, and you just delete those bad videos and make the better videos later on. You'll figure it out. You know, trust me, we've all made really bad videos.
Learn on the job.
Yeah, you just learn on the job. That's how it works.
Yeah, and that's something about some of my old videos. I have gotten rid of a couple here or there, but not many. But a lot of the old ones, like I'm going to be redoing. My very first video was the Die Hard trilogy on PlayStation 1, and you can very easily and quickly see that I was kind of emulating some other people at that time, and then because we all do start someplace, you know, because we've seen other people, and then you grow from there. And I will be doing a kind of like a re-envisioning of that video and another. It's going to be very skit heavy, like some of my stuff is, but that video will always remain there because it was the first video, and it will show you where I've come from. And then anybody who's a fan and follower of these other gentlemen here, you can go back and look at their stuff too, and they'll see the same thing. And it's a good thing to see where we've come from and where we're at now. But the passion, like you guys were talking about, that is primary. I think if you're just doing it, I'm not saying that there aren't other larger YouTubers who have become dispassionate per se. I think that there are those who, they get so big and they kind of start to phone it in a little bit, but at the same time, they've been doing it for a while, so I get it. I really get it. But my goal is to entertain everybody. And I mean, it's not just about the games for me. It's about, can I get a good laugh out of you guys? And I've said this many times before on different people's channels, and I've said it here before too. I want to entertain you. And I don't mean just, oh, well, hey, that was a really good video, a good review on Resident Evil 4. No, I'm here for the laughs, because I know that there's people out there who are having a bad day, they're having a bad week, they're having a bad year, and if they accidentally tune into me and they get a couple good chuckles, especially if I'm doing something that's skit heavy, you know, great, I'm doing my job. And I was lucky enough to have, like that last video that both Bliss and Mike were in, the Guilty Pleasure games. We had 14 people in that video. And I was so thrilled that many people said yes. And I'm like, oh gosh, what am I going to do with 14 of them? Including
I love
myself.
that video, by the way. That was great.
That was.
I was hoping that we would get, you know, some eyes on some stuff that maybe people might go, yeah, that's a game that I never thought of, or that game's not so bad. Like I believe it was Derek Switzer in the comments, he was talking about how E.T., you know, it's, instead of Pac-Man being that bad. John Riggs proved to you that E.T. is not as bad, you know.
Well, Derek thinks that thinks Popeye can jump in the Popeye arcade game. Don't listen to Derek.
E.T. isn't a good game, but people who think that it's the worst game ever need to play more games.
They need to play.
That's because they never read the instructions.
Yeah, you want a really, really bad Atari game? Play Bugs. Terrible.
Yeah, it's not good.
I would rather spend time in a McDonald's deep fryer bobbing for rubber balls than play Bugs. That is a really bad game.
This is a PG show. Yeah.
That was a PG comment.
And actually, I would like to
preach it, Chris.
Put the comment down for a sec. I would just like to point out. There you go. Under Mr. Poestyle's name there, he put PG for the night. We appreciate it. But back to the YouTuber of the Month thing. You guys, Scott and Pat, tell us a bit about kind of your experience through that.
Pat?
Well, when I got contacted by Phil, I was like, well, that's cool. I'm not really into competitions and stuff. You know, I don't even do the lottery because I know I'll lose. But you know, he's been a friend of mine for a long time, and so I said, oh, that's cool. You know, and then of course I let the guys from the show know, and everybody agreed to vote for me except for Off Grid. And and I talked to a few other people, the Atari Creep and Willie from Arcade USA. You know, I've been friends with them for quite a while, so I told them about it. And I told my son, of course, because he wanted me to start the channel, so he was excited. He told his cousins, and so I had family members voting. And then I see that I'm up against Ballistik. I've told this story a few times before. I'm like, oh wow, Ballistik has been. He was watching me when his channel was smaller than mine, you know, and we started watching each other after he was in all my videos. And I'm like, well, this could be his last chance to win it. So I kind of I didn't advertise it a whole lot after that. I didn't put anything up. I put up a video thanking Phil for the nomination because I felt like, you know, I needed to do that. But after I saw Ballistik was in there, it was just kind of like, well, that stinks. You know, and Phil had no idea that was a buddy of mine, you know, at the time. Mm-hmm. But me and Ballistik and I had been watching each other's stuff and in the chats and everything for a long. Actually, I had already, I think, been on Ballistik's show a couple of times.
I found that
being interviewed
after. I found that out after that you were a guest on his show. It was after the nominations had already been submitted. I'm like, because I kept watching. I'm like, wait a minute, there's Poe.
But really, my channel has always been about I just wanted people to comment. I want to talk about a game that I played with my buddy when we were 13, and I stayed over at his house or something. Do you remember this game? You know, and it's about the comments for my channel. I never really expected anything to be huge with it. But I met a lot of nice people along the way with Phil and the guys that I do the show with. We did a show before the show together over a year ago, and then we got back together to start this show a year ago. So meeting those guys, that was a surprise to make friends like that. You don't really think going into YouTube, I don't think that you're going to make good buddies. And you have Off Grid, the Gaming Road Warrior, and G Parker were just like the kids I grew up with. You know, most of us jab at each other. Mike's the Gaming Road Warrior is just a nice guy. He sits quietly while we all pick on each other. You know,
he adds an aura of professionalism to the otherwise chaotic show.
And he's such a great dude, right? You know, he's just like mellow, but he knows his stuff. And G Parker, you can't really say he's like one of the kids you grew up with because he's about 98 years old now. So he's like that old guy, but not the one that yelled at you to get off the lawn. It was the one that was inviting you in for candy bars. Wait, that didn't sound right either.
Come and get your mail.
Get back here, you. But yeah, at that point, and I never did check to see how many votes I had. I didn't even know how to do that. I didn't go back again.
You just scroll down and count them.
Yeah.
I think I had 6 then. So I don't know.
But I met you guys, and I started watching your channels and everything, and you guys both hilarious. And I'm like, all right, I like this. You know, we'll see what happens with this. You know, we got right down to the end there. Wow, that was crazy.
Yeah, I felt so bad for how that ended.
Well,
I know I shouldn't, but
dude, you know.
We'll get to that. We'll let Dr. Scott talk about his experience.
How many times do you watch look at what the Chiefs did, you know, in some games, you know, come back in the last, 14 seconds of the game and come back and win the game. It's just the way it happens sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. But the thing of it is, Brian, he handled it with grace and dignity as he always does.
Really did.
And something that needs to be mentioned, because he would say it if he were here. He has said on multiple occasions that even though he did not win YouTuber of the Month for July, he said that it's still being nominated and being part of that for July was still one of the best things that happened to him. Because of all the exposure and everything that happened to him in that particular month, because
he bumped up to 1,000 in that month.
Yeah, he got over 1,000 like almost immediately, and then things just started taking off, and he's almost at 2,000 now. So he's doing phenomenal. His Espresso and his That Atari show, and he's got other things going on his channel, and his show is just amazing, and he's an all-around good guy, man, and
he really is.
I don't know how he does it, because he's had I know he just recently graduated and gotten a new position, so I'm not sure exactly how he works 2 jobs.
If I was as busy as he is, I'd be a far crankier person.
I don't know how.
More
He
coffee.
is. He is always happy. Right?
Where's the coffee?
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
But,
That's it. The coffee.
Scott, why don't you tell us about your kind of experience of that month?
I had, it like you very eloquently said earlier, if you were looking for, tons of subs, or if you were looking for, people to just, all of a sudden start watching your video, you kind of missed the point. I mean, that's supposed to be kind of like the residual effect. Like, hopefully, if it happens, that happens, great. But, I met you guys. I've only talked with Ballistik Coffee Boy Brian, like, I think maybe once or twice in the an email or whatever. And he is a really wonderful person, and I hope he's feeling better very, very soon. I wish you were here, but we will probably catch up with you here another time very soon. But I met some cool friends that and when I saw Phil, when I saw him at Torg this year, it was like so cool, because we hadn't actually met in person, and it was just like, you were over sitting with Brian from BD RetroMods, and
I know I'm 6'2". I'm 6'2", and I went, dude, wow, what's up? Because I did the same thing when I saw Poe. I'm like, dude, I thought I was a big dude. I'm like, man, what's up with these YouTubers all bigger than me?
If it makes you feel any better, I'm only 6'1".
Man,
people, but yeah, I knew that the way that it was going to go. I mean, I made a couple of videos. I wasn't gonna go out there and campaign real hard.
I really liked your short, vote for me to save the world, or I forget specifically what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look at them. I can't remember what they were now, but I had three different ones, and I was like, I think I'll put them out there, and I'll release maybe one a week, and that'll be about it, because I really didn't know how to go about it. And considering how busy you must be working and then, doing stuff for your channel as well, you must be jumping around like a hen on a hot rock trying to manage that every month as well too, Mike. So, well,
and I got to say, there's a guy in the chat that features very, very heavily in next month's. That guy right there, he featured that you had the comment, Zenbloat. He features very heavily in next month's episode. We've done a little collaboration because, flashing forward ahead a little bit, he narrowly came in second place to win for YouTuber of the Year. So I got him involved in this month, and it's a funny episode, and you'll kind of get a glimpse as to what the show might have been like if he had been the host.
That's an alternate reality, shall we say?
Well, no, but we stick with the Doctor Who theme, and let's say maybe I didn't put the shields up this month.
Okay, I can't wait to see that. But I had a fun experience. Excuse me, but I knew I wasn't going to win, and I kind of was thankful for that, just because I know how busy I am now, and like I said at the beginning of the show, I think it ended up in the right hands. I can't put it any better way than that. But I made a few more friends, and like I've even said when I do, because I've only done 2 collaborative videos so far, and I've had John Riggs in both of them. I've had Perry Fractic from Retro Recipes in them, who has a much considerably larger channel now than John does. But when you have a couple of the bigger guys in there, and some of the medium-sized guys, and some of us smaller guys in there, we're not but it's not like we started off last week, but some of us smaller guys in there, the cross-pollination is what you'd like to see, not just, hey, we get to kind of sort of interact with each other, while we're premiering a video or whatever. But if John Riggs gets one subscriber from, say, Mike's, subscribers, or from Phil's subscribers, or from any, then he's got one more than he didn't have. And what if we get 2 or 3 from, say, Perry Fractic, or from say, Gamer Aimer? If it cross-pollinates here a little bit there, everybody wins, and everybody viewing gets the best thing in the world. You get all these different people that you may or may not follow interacting with one another to bring you something cool. And that's the same thing that this game, this YouTuber of the Year thing is. I mean, it's 5 every month, right?
5, yep.
And in 12 months, you've got, how many is that? That's 60,
That's
right?
60, yep.
Yeah, I mean, you get to check out 60 new channels just by watching this, whether you end up following them all or not. And no guff against anybody international, because technically this guy's international up here, right?
Yes. I come from the sophisticated part of North America.
Yes.
I hear birds chirping. Do you hear that?
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Oh, that's me. I'm chirping. No, they're right outside here. I have the door open because it's a little warmer here tonight.
Oh, okay, all right.
But
you're good. You're good. I thought maybe.
But
I thought maybe I had a bird in the house or something.
But save those other 12 channels who may not end up getting watched as much just because they are international, and I don't speak Portuguese or Russian or what have you. I mean, that's just kind of the law of numbers. Hey!
He showed up!
How you doing? Can you hear me?
Hallelujah! Yes.
Perfect. Are you kidding me? He was able to come on.
Surprise.
I'm so happy you're here.
I literally just walked in the door from the hospital.
Oh.
How are you feeling, man? I didn't tell people you were in the hospital. I just said you were not feeling well. I didn't want to tell everybody all your business.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I have diverticulitis, so sometimes this only happened one other time, but I feel like I'm being stabbed a million times in the stomach, and I have to go to the hospital sometimes and be flushed out with liquid. So that's kind of what happened. But
fair enough.
I'm glad to be here because it was killing me that I couldn't make it. So I was like, can I go home right now? And they're like, yes. I'm like, okay.
Man, we might have to extend it another hour.
It's a Christmas miracle.
It's a Christmas miracle. We are so happy to have you on, man. You know what, Mike and I were talking, and we really did advertise this so hard, and we're like, what are we going to do? We can't do this without Brian. What are we going to do? And it was with a heavy heart that we decided to go ahead, and I don't know, so we kind of told your story, but since you're here, why don't you tell us?
Not from your perspective. We're actually just wrapping up our experiences of that month, so you're next. You can jump right in.
Go.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, well, I was nominated twice for YouTuber of the Month. The first time was by Back in the Day Gaming, and I was going up against my mind is crazy right now. Who's the guy that was YouTuber of the Year before you, Mike?
Chris, Real Bit Wars.
Real Bit Wars. Yeah.
Yeah.
But nothing against him. I'm just been busy, but he actually won out. So my competition both times were the winners of YouTuber of the Year. So I had some rough competition.
And he commented earlier saying that our month was the highest voting month of the entire year, which I talked to him about too. Basically, the top, all 4 of us, compared to what I've realized is an average month with the votes that we got, probably could have won. It usually takes between 20 and 40 votes to win. Yeah. And you and I had it up to like 110, 112. And then for YouTube of the Year, Zen Bloke was just like pushing me. I had like 150 something to win that. It's brutal.
Wow. It was just, it was an incredible experience both times. It was just an honor to be like nominated, as you hear everyone say, but it's true because I got to meet, I met so many YouTubers, especially the first time I met Mocking JYT, who's a great friend of mine now, and so many other people. I can't even list them all. And but you know, I mean, really the cool story for me was the second time I was nominated by Retro Bliss Gaming. You may have told this story, but so I was nominated alongside Mike's Gaming Gala and some other very worthy people, and it was tough and it was fun. And he, you know, the part for me was I really wanted to nominate some of my favorite channels, and so I was now. I mean, this just made the experience for me. Whenever Mike won, he reached out to me and said, basically, you know, that you would like to nominate my nominations. And I was about to get sick. I was so excited about it. Because I wanted to nominate some of my favorite channels. And and it was hard because I have like 20, 30 people, including Mr. Poestyle and, you know, everyone. It was hard, but I wanted to. I'm so glad that you nominated my nominations, and that just shows you what a kind of guy you are to do that. And I was that was the whole experience for me. It's kind of like we both won. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, for sure.
It was so.
It's like Phil mentioned that you know, he found me and he found Dr. Scott through asking around other people. The same with Maniakos Poratari. He found that through talking to Ricardo. And so I had like 3 guys. One that I was dead set. I really wanted to nominate my drunk sibling because they're good friends of mine. I've loved them ever since they started doing, and I don't think they get nearly as much recognition as they should. And then I was looking around, and there's some channels, and so I can say it now because we're so far after the fact. But Go Game Go was going to be one of my nominations, and a Cooppola Nerds. But then I was like lost for my last 2. So I sent you an email and I told my wife, you know what? I saw, because you had posted a short that, you know, these are the, you know, I really wanted to nominate some people. That's why I wanted to win. And you said that you felt like you let your fan base down. And I don't think that's true at all. But I told my wife, it's like, well, like he really wanted to nominate and I need at least 2. And I could be convinced if he was really dead set on 3, and I could probably drop 1 if I had to.
These are the nominees you're looking for.
Yeah. And so I told my wife, it's like, I think I'm going to try emailing Brian. And I didn't know, because for those who don't know, it was like the last 3-4 days that I actually really started campaigning and messaging everybody on Facebook and having my brother on Twitch, you know, put the word out to all his message groups and stuff.
You didn't kidnap any dogs, did you? No.
Only cats.
Okay.
We kidnapped some cats.
But no, that's fine. That's fine.
But and so ended up just squeaking by. And I, having, like, being a competitive kind of guy, like, you know, the Leafs, the Toronto Maple Leafs suck. I cheer for them every year, but I know what it's like to lose in that last few minutes.
Yeah.
And just like, I know how it feels. And so I asked, I told my wife, I think I'm going to reach out and just to see. And if he doesn't respond, he doesn't respond. And she was like, don't do it. Like, just don't do it. And I was like, no, you know what? He seems really sincere in his videos. He's been nothing but a nice guy in the comments that we've had back and forth in this last month. And so I sent it out, and I forget exactly what I said, but I was like, you know, listen, you easily could have won. Any of us was deserving of winning. I think that Phil's nominations are probably as a group, one of the strongest groups of channels, like, at least for me personally, because again, you know, my taste is really retro. And I need some more nominees. So if you don't mind, I'd be happy to nominate some of your nominations if you gave me a list. And then the coolest thing was you gave me a list of 5 and I was looking for 4. 2 of your guys were Go Game Go and Cooppola Nerds. So I was like, okay, win right there. And then it's like, okay, I got to pick. And then for the same reason that you know, you and Mr. Poestyle didn't know that you were nominated in the same month. And Mr. Poestyle has even said that he probably would have declined if he knew that you were running. Luke's Awakening, who was one of the nominations, he declined because he didn't want to go up against like Aries, Brain Slush TV, which meant that all of your nominees who were willing to be nominated got nominated, and I just felt so glad because I felt bad with the way I won. Not because there was any shenanigans or anything. I just know how it feels.
So
Yeah.
You felt like you were the horse that fired the other guy's jockey. Yeah, it's like
It's not like you had somebody take out Ballistik's leg.
hey,
to my
Nancy
like-
Kerrigan.
I don't-
And, no.
Yeah, Tanya Harding. I was going to my like neighbors. I don't speak Spanish. I speak bad restaurant Spanish, and I live in primarily the Spanish-speaking part
I
of
love
town. So
Taco.
Can I use
went to
that?
my
I like
neighbor.
that.
yeah, I went to my like neighbors and said, "Can you vote for me real quick?" Like, I had 2 or 3 of my neighbors vote for me because I helped them out with chores around their house.
I didn't even get my wife to vote for me. I said to her, "Hey, I'm up for this YouTuber of the month thing." She said, "Is there any money in it?" I said, "No." She said, "Get back to doing the dishes."
Yeah.
That's about right. Yeah,
But
That sounds
I had
about-
I even
sounds
got my
about
kids to ask their friends at high school to vote for their dad. How lame is that?
Nice.
it worked. It
Your
worked.
dad's got a YouTube channel? Wow, that's a. What does he do?
it's
Mow
just a-
lawns or something? What?
It was, it was an incredible experience. It really was, and I still think, now I've hit 1K, I can't be nominated anymore, but
Mhm.
I just had such a great time, and I'm a big champion of the whole thing. It's just great, especially just networking, meeting people, getting your name out there is part of it too.
For sure.
It was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. I met probably 30, 40 YouTubers from it, at least. And then G Nerd, who I'm also kind of close to, was YouTuber of the year in the past. So
Yep.
so they were very encouraging, but it was just a great experience. And I didn't know Retro Bliss from anyone, and he contacted me and said, "Hey," and then I didn't.
Well,
know.
I don't know if you remember, but you were watching my show.
Yeah. Just
That's how I found your channel. I was
barely
like,
started,
wait a minute,
like-
this dude's got a pretty nice
yeah.
show. I was like,
I barely started. So when he contacted me, I was like, "Who is this?" Oh, and it was just awesome, But yeah, I just met so many cool people, and it was just great. It wasn't all great, I have to say. I did have a couple of things that happened afterwards that I didn't like. I don't really feel comfortable talking about it, but
Okay.
just to say it's not all roses and sunshine, like I may have lost a friendship from it. So just being honest about it. But overall, 99.9% of me, I'm glad.
From the competition?
Yeah. I'm
Wow.
really glad.
Well, no, I always say you can't lose a friend that you never really had to begin with. I
Yeah.
always say that.
That's very true. Yeah, that's
You
very
know, don't even worry about
And
that,
it
bro.
wasn't- And it wasn't you, Mike, at all. It was a different situation.
Ah!
So, yeah.
So I'm still thinking about what Dr. Scott said there about somebody having a lawn mowing channel. That's hilarious. It has to be out there, right?
It actually is.
There are.
Oh,
It's
no.
a big thing. They do time lapse of landscaping.
I
Yeah,
watch
they-
it on Facebook all the time.
Yeah, most of these-
No.
yeah, no,
There's a
they're-
channel for everything.
They're
honestly.
really neat because most of them are regular people who are just doing landscaping. But what they always find is like a house that either the yard is really overrun because somebody's
Yep.
passed away, and it's like sitting in the middle of this neighborhood. It's just like nice lawn, dead person, nice lawn. Yeah. And they don't go finding bodies in the closet or anything. But
I used to have a neighbor that would do the checkerboard pattern. He was real great at that. His place
Yeah.
always looked nice. And then he moved, and the next people that came in, they mowed like once a year. So it was a big difference.
Yeah. I've been getting into like YouTube videos about abandoned malls. So
Oh
there
yeah,
are
yeah.
people that will break into malls in some cases, take video, and some of these malls have been closed 20, 30 years, and you see like a KB toy store sitting there. Like,
Yeah.
I am so into these videos. There's a guy called North Dog C something. I can't
Yeah.
remember right now, but he has a great channel. But I've like followed 20 of these people, and they're all, it's so fun just to see people talk about old malls, walk, and I just love this stuff. I don't know why, but it's just kind of the retro aesthetic of the mall and kind of remembering, oh yeah, that's what it looked like, that's what it felt like. And
I watch similar stuff, but it's like old abandoned French chateaus and castles and stuff.
Oh,
There's
cool.
some really cool stuff. And you look, it's like there is a 1,000-year-old chair and it's just sitting there laying down
Yeah.
with bird poop on it. And it's like, what are you
Right.
doing?
yeah, exactly. But there's literally a channel for everything. I mean, honestly, there
Yeah.
really is. Whatever you could think about, there's a channel for it.
Yep.
So it's really interesting. I wonder if some of those kind of
Cutting toenails. I've seen where they're cutting toenails.
No,
I swear. I'm
you definitely
sitting
see them burst into boils and stuff. Guys at
Yeah,
the still
no,
mill
it's
used to
cool.
love that.
I don't
Oh,
wanna see
you're
that.
eating lunch? Well, look at this.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Those-
wonder if those communities have their own version of YouTuber of the month, right? If they have like YouTuber of the month for like boil collecting, I don't know. Is there something out there? I'm
You
sure
know
there
what?
is. I don't know.
As host, I can change the rules to whatever I want. I can make it all about toenail clippings.
Mr. Poestyle would win.
rate my rash.
Like,
Hey, Game Dad's here.
Dad's here in the house. You have a class to start? Like, are you teaching a class or are you attending a class?
Art Freak said he came in at the wrong time. He probably
That's my
said,
wife.
this is supposed to be about YouTuber of the month, not about all this other stuff.
That's my wife. I told her, I'm like, it's at 8 o'clock. It's like, so I don't know.
Yeah. And then, obviously, when we got to YouTuber of the Year, that was actually a really, really special thing for me because first of all, I talked to Phil before, like when I got the email from Chris, I talked to Phil and I was like, are you running? And he's like, I don't know if I can. I've got my parents I'm dealing with, life is busy and stuff. And that I felt was my go ahead to,
I said
okay,
no.
I feel okay.
I already knew I wasn't. I said no. I didn't say I don't know. I already knew I wasn't. I said no, go for it, bro. I got your back. And I said, if you want to do it, I'm going to do everything I can to get you elected. I made a video to saying vote for Mike.
And then I never even reached out to Mr. Poestyle, and he made a hilarious old Poe video with the SCTV thing.
Oh yeah.
For Mitch's Gaming Galaxy. Get over there and vote.
We talked about doing something together at some point, and I was going to last year. If anybody in this area, I don't know if Ohio had it, but we were getting the smoke, and the news kept saying it's the smoke coming down from Canada. The fire's up there. So I wanted to do a whole thing where old Poe opens the door and is all pissed, like, where's all the smoke coming from? And then flash to you, you're burning the fire.
Just, it's my secondhand smoke.
yeah,
We smoke that much here.
with this robe on. Right? Oh yeah.
The cigarette holder looks like Miss
Yeah, those are
Scarlet
long.
from the old Clue.
Long gloves too.
So you were in a fight for YouTuber of the Year.
I was really in a fight with Zen Bloke, and it came like at one point I think we were within 5 or 10 votes. And right up to the very end, I was just because I had explored every avenue, and I was so, one of the nicest things was seeing Mr. Poestyle voted for me. Phil, you voted for me. You got your wife and your kids to vote for me. Dr. Scott, you voted for me. And if Brian, if BCB hadn't been enjoying time with family, he would have seen my email and he probably would have voted for me. But at the same time, he Coopul of Nerds was also nominated. was also running. And so even when I sent the email, I was like, if you feel like you can't, don't ruin any friendships. But that was just so heartwarming that, people that I competed against rallying behind me and helping with that. Like I said, every month, two things are on my mind. I can't vote, and I absolutely will not mention who I personally think, but who every month do I think would make the best next YouTuber of the year? Because that's what I'm thinking of. Who's going to carry this torch next? But also, I hope they have the same experience that we had, because it just was such a wonderful experience for me. And like I said, I was kind of a silo prior to this, and now I'm in a community, and I'm in all of your communities. Obviously there is so much content, and 75% of it is posted by BCB, so I get to what I can. But rest assured,
he's busier than a bee on a honey dipped hamburger.
Yes. But rest assured, whether I comment or not, I'm always one of your likes. I'm always one of your views. I absolutely love you guys, and just how awesome this experience has been honestly, I don't credit YouTuber of the month with being, all my subs or anything like this. I credit my mindset going from I'm making my content to I'm part of a wider community and this is a social platform that I am engaging with other people, content creators, and there's no such thing as a competitor because we're all just doing what we do. I think that's actually probably led more to my growth than anything else that I've done on my channel.
Well, my friend Retro Rob, he I think it was about a year ago, he was trying to help me get to 1,000. And it gets very frustrating when you make something. Let me take this out of second person. When I make something and it doesn't get watched. And I don't mean it needs 100,000 views. Yeah, that'd be nice especially when you're monetized, because then you're getting a little payback for the game you bought, or for the wigs you bought, or for the the costumes you bought, or the green screen or whatever. That's kind of like geometry. That's given. But like I said earlier, I like to entertain. I like to make people laugh, and the more eyes I have on it, whether I get paid or not, I don't care. I'm making more people laugh. So I said to Rob last year, I was like, darn it, I this video didn't do very, like my Resident Evil 4 video remake. I went all out on that one.
It was so good.
Thank you.
So good.
I had a lot of fun making it, and my wife, all the more epic videos, she always has a big hand in helping with that. And Rob said to me, he was just like, well, he said, I know it gets frustrating sometimes, but it'll definitely come along, and you have friends watching it now. It's not just the strangers that you don't know. You have friends watching it, and that kind of brought it into perspective for me, because there's a lot of people that I'm subscribed to, and sometimes I'll go in a block and I'm like, okay, I'll have like 2 or 3 days of videos I'll have to watch like all in a row, just because I've been working on other stuff, and then I'll go back and start watching them. And it's like somebody might go, that came out a couple days ago. Why is he commenting now? But at least I get back to them. But he's absolutely right. Rob is absolutely right. I've got friends watching now. I know that eventually, if it's something that I'm not saying that we all watch every single one of our videos, each other's videos, because our community, or even sub-communities that have spread off here and there, do I watch every single one that Gamer Aimer makes? I'd be lying if I said yes. I'd like to catch everybody's videos that I know, but it might be there for another day. And am I going to get upset if a friend of mine doesn't? How dare you not watch my video? No, it's there on the channel. It's not like it's going to get taken down. But my friends are watching, and it's kind of like, if I get to entertain you guys and it gets to spread out to other people, great. And that's what I took away, especially when Rob told me that. He goes, but your friends are watching. And I was like, yeah, I've got this community of people who are watching now. And a great deal of that is because of Phil nominating me, and I get to meet you guys. You know, and then all these great people watching now. I mean, like even Jason Graves, he's there in the chat now, and we were chatting here about, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? Back and forth, Jason. If I think so. We were emailing back and forth, and so I'm cooking something up here new, and I'm going to be tapping a couple of you guys on the shoulder here just to let you know. Hopefully, maybe not 14 people as we had before. Maybe just a little smaller, and that's okay.
13.
Yeah,
Lucky number.
I'll sit this one out. I'll just have you guys fight it out.
The answer was Bill and Ted. That's the guilty pleasure. I said it in the comments. Oh, darn it.
That is a guilty pleasure game. It sure is. But I forgot where I was going with that. I
have that effect on everybody.
I'm 52 years old. I do have those moments. So there you go. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's it's interesting because with like my channel, it's I mostly focus on Atari news, so and as a former journalist, I know it needs to be out right away, like yesterday. So sometimes I'll get out of bed and like 7, 8 in the morning, and I'm like, oh crap, a game's come out in the BCS or Atari bought whatever company. I basically make the video before I get ready for work, edit it, and then leave and go to work and watch it. And so that's kind of how my day is. A lot of days it has to be out immediately. I can't wait. So that's kind of how my stuff kind of goes with a lot of my material. I don't have time to fuss over editing, or it's never going to get out. So that's the excuse I use for the subpar editing. Get it out right away and move on to the next thing. And I've got a couple of friends.
I know what to do.
I have a couple of friends like locally that have channels. Bally Alley is one who does the Bally Alley Astercast for the Bally Astercade. And my friend Adam, he's like down the street literally. And he's like, dude, I worked on a video for 6 months. You put out 200 or 300 in 6 months. I can't believe it. And I was like, you just got to let it go like a baby. Just let it go. So that's kind of my and I also have 2 jobs. I work like 70 hours a week. And so there's no time. So
that's why you were in the hospital, man. Come on. Sorry.
Part of the reason, yeah. Part of the reason. But yeah, I just try to get it out because if I just sit on it, I'll lose interest and not post it. So I just get it out there and move on is kind of my philosophy. But, it's
especially for news. That is probably the most valid.
Yeah. For news, it's got to get out now because otherwise you're looking at the New York Times from 3 weeks ago.
Right. Yeah.
Not that I would look at the New York Times.
So, yeah. I was talking to my friend Bacon Ice Cream Productions, Retro Rich.
Rich.
Him and I are like, sometimes he'll post it before I do. I'll post it before he does. Damn it, you beat me, And it's kind of funny because we always kind of talk about that and joke about it. Like sometimes I'll post something first just because he was at a park with his kids and he's like, damn it, you don't have any kids. So it's it's interesting. Yeah.
Kids take up so much more time than you'd think.
Oh my God, mine both left now.
Well, and you'd think it would get less when they're teenagers, but it doesn't.
Oh no, teenagers, especially for daughters. And maybe I'm just speaking for myself. Oh my goodness, my daughter was just a handful, And like they say, when you have a son, you only have one boy to look out for. When you have a daughter, you have all the rest of them to look out for.
All of them, yeah.
Oh no!
Thank you for changing that to boy. PG for the night.
Mike, you have a hockey game to watch with your family, right? We're getting late here. So.
But you know what? I'm dedicated to you guys. If we got to go a few minutes over,
I was going to sing a song for you.
No.
A French Canadian guy drove my Chevy to the left.
Turn the reverb off, bro.
Up next, Willie Nelson.
He does a pretty decent Willie Nelson. I don't know if you've seen his recent videos.
On the other hand,
Zen Bloke asked, "Have any of the panel done a video with their kid?" Now I know that Phil has done some stuff with his granddaughter. I know that Mike has definitely done some, and my daughter has been in a couple of my videos, but she has her own videos as well that I make for Harley Fractics Retro Recipes, and she has her own channel, which is Harley Fractics Hideout, and that's just a posting of all of her videos from there. But she isn't occasionally in my videos. There was one that I did, I don't know, maybe about 9 months ago. I did one where I was kind of emulating a video that Metal Jesus did, because he got this, it was a Patreon member asked him a question. What Switch games are the ones that you played most by hours? And on the Switch, you can actually look on there and see how many you've played by hours. So I said, So I emulated his font styles he was using. I emulated a couple other odds and ends. I emulated the actual, the look of all the video and stuff. And I said, I'm going to take, a page from Metal Jesus's book, and I'm going to apply that too. And then I said, but we're going to apply it to the Atari 2600. So I installed some software on the 2600 so we can see which video. Now, a couple people actually, because I do have a comedy channel, I put a couple things on there that weren't actually 2600 games, and a couple people got mad about it. I'm like, dude, get a sense of humor, But at the end of the video, I have Rainbow Six Vegas 2 on there as the number one. And then, so at the end of the video, Harley, my daughter, she takes me away and she goes, "We got to go put you in bed now. You're not making any sense." I'm like, "I'm okay." And she hauls me away. And then I think it's the first anniversary show I did, she won guest of the year or something like that. She came out and made a little speech and stuff. So yeah, I've definitely done that.
She was in the trucker when Jason said.
Yes, she was in.
Yeah,
that
I saw
one too.
that one too.
Yeah, she was the bandit to my snowman. In that, yeah, it had the mustache and everything.
All three of my kids have been in various intros of mine, but if you look at my birthday special from last year, you see them as themselves. Like, I played games against all three of my kids and my wife, who never plays video games. So.
My son showed up and won, and he always was the one that wanted me to start the show. So when we did Sky Kid, I think it was a couple of years ago, he showed up for it. And then after that, he's like, "I don't want to be in anymore. I'll just watch them." So, but him and my daughter did show up before he left for basic training. We were doing our Frogger challenge for the show, and they both were home that night. And they actually came downstairs to the arcade machine, and I'm like, "Wow, that's pretty amazing. We got to get this recorded here." So
that's cool.
Can I bring something up here? I got to bring something up here. I do a lot of live gameplay. Okay, I do review videos on the channel as well, but I do a lot of live gameplay. And Mike and Poe on occasion, but Mike especially, he gets on there and he watches me play. And when I play, like I'll do an eeny, meeny, miny, mo, whatever. I'll play. It may be a game that I can play well, and it may not. And so, depending on what game it is, and depending on how well I'm doing, Mike will get on there, and Mike's a gamer. He knows how to play the game sometimes better than I do. And when I get to playing, I'm focused, and I'll get to playing the game, and I may not look over at the chat to see what he may be on the chat. Do this, do that. He's screaming. He's all caps trying to tell me what to do, and I'm not paying attention what he's doing. And so he starts razzing me, right? And so lately he's been doing some live gameplay, right? And so
I was just trying to. If you look at the other games that I play, I'm good. But I'm giving away a copy of DK Arcade for the Intellivision. I suck at this game. I told everybody I suck at this game, and then I played it just to show it, and I sucked at it.
I came in late. I didn't hear him say that. I came in late, and I tuned in. He gets on there. He couldn't even make it like to the second
I eventually made it to the 4th stage.
No, you did. But what I'm saying is, like, he was on the first
I
level.
died in the 1st stage, like 3 games in a row.
And so I type in the comments. I'm like, jump. I just type in jump, and he's like,
my response in stream was, this is deserved, guys. This is deserved.
And my point is, like, and he says, yeah, I know, Phil. I know it's not as easy as it looks. I know.
You got the distraction. I've got the lights. I've got the chat, and even if you're trying to focus on the game, it's tough. It is difficult. So.
Yeah, the problem is with Phil streams, the problem with once in a while, I will throw in a tip there. But Mike is just naturally one of those people we can play off of each other. It's just like my friends growing up. So then it turns into not PG, you know. Mike will say something or I'll say something.
Turn into teenagers, yeah.
Next thing you know, we fill up the chat like we're junior high boys, you know.
But see, it's not verbal. The people can't hear it. So, you know, it's not so bad in the chat. Right. And I also have my boy CK and Operation Shutdown that can kick you guys out or whatever if it gets too bad. You know, they already know what to do if you guys aren't behaving yourself.
Hey,
I really can't.
I've got mod powers too. I could boot them before they get us.
That's true.
If I see Mike like every Tuesday night and you guys are there and I say something, if I see Mike start to smile, then it's like I can't help it. I'm sorry, guys. Here we go. And the one week you guys had the Ballistik on, and then I saw everybody just kind of stop and kind of laugh at what I wrote, and I'm just like, I did what I came here for. I can log off now.
I was going to add, I had my 11-year-old nephew Damien on my channel a few times in Texas, and he actually has a TikTok page with like 1 million subscribers.
Wow.
He's underage, so he can't show his face, right, in those videos. But so he was on my channel a few times. I was talking to him about the future of gaming, like the Meta Quest and all that. And I was playing that with him, talking about it. And I actually went to a bookstore up the street that I go to in Dallas on Half Price Books. And I found a copy of Tempest 4000 for Xbox and bought it for him. And I brought it back to his place and my sister's place, and he played it and was like, this is awesome, and he loved it. And he said, who made this? I said, well, it was based on this game on the Atari Jaguar. And he's like, oh, Atari made it? Oh, I'm not interested anymore. It was like, oh man, but he really got into it, and it was funny to watch that kind of look on his face. Atari made it, didn't get it. But anyway, it was fun to have him on. As an 11-year-old, he obviously has a much different perspective of gaming than a 48-year-old. But it's really fun because, I mean, him and I, when we get into games, we kind of get very competitive with each other, and it's really fun. So it was fun to have him on, and I'll have him more on in the future too. But he was a lot of fun. It's like having
I like when you have your trips back home. I like when you do those videos.
Oh yeah.
And then you were play acting with
my sister.
Your sister.
Yeah.
And talking about your 2600 plus not making it, and those were great.
Stages of
7 stages of grief. Yeah.
Right, because it's real, but at the same time, he's kind of making fun of himself, and so that's what made that video so great.
Yeah, she was so fun. I was like, "Can you do this with me?" And I was like asking her, I was outside with her, let's make some stuff. Can we get your card on Amazon and order it? She's like, no. I'm like, oh. All these things I did.
Well, send her up here because I still am waiting for my Atari jacket, which I ordered way back when, and I asked Atari about it. It's coming. Oh. Mr. Run and Jump Special Edition. What was that? August, I think I ordered that?
It's coming. Hold on. Okay, put it in the box.
And I always say, have you paid Atari today? Because I have. Some of the stuff I bought right out, and some of it I did the pay in for or whatever that PayPal lets you do. But I have so many things coming from them that I can't even remember what's coming from them.
Me too. I was told it's going to come in May, but I was also told it was going to come in April and in March. So at this point, I'm telling people on my channel, because I talk a lot about Atari.com, my channel too, stuff like wares and games up for sale. And I'll tell people, if it's a pre-order, get it from Amazon. Don't get it from Atari. I pre-ordered the 2600 plus day one, and like last summer, and it came 3 weeks late, and that's just that's inexcusable. Also, the people that ordered after me got free shipping and got it shipped on launch day. I mean, what a slap in the face is that?
I ordered mine a week before it was released on Amazon and got it the day it came out.
It's not right. And I was told that there was a problem at the warehouse, blah, blah, blah. They didn't know who ordered what at what time. I'm like,
at the warehouse.
That's not
well,
good.
and the way they planned this stuff too. When they first announced it, here is Mr. Run and Jump for the 2600. We thought that was the only Mr. Run and Jump for the 2600, right? The silver label, they call it a special edition or whatever. But then all of a sudden, we had this one with an orange label. It's not so special. And everybody got those. Everybody's getting those, Yeah. It's like, what happened to the one with the silver? Just slap anything on it and send it to me already. I'm waiting for the thing. And they've done that with a few things, A lot of those games that I don't even remember what all I ordered. Ninja Golf, I know, but that wasn't supposed to come out until.
Yeah, I'm waiting on Ninja Golf. I'm waiting on Outlaw. I'm waiting on Save Mary. I'm waiting on Mr. Run and Jump Limited Edition. I'm waiting on about 4 or 5 others. I'm not kidding. Right. And so what I tell people is, if it's a pre-order, get it from Amazon. If it's one of these things that's in 3 to 5 days, it's safe. But if it's a pre-order, do not get it from Atari.
Yeah.
I've been slapped in the face a few times with that. So I tell people on the channel, I'm honest and say, I love Atari. Don't order from Atari.
I ordered the Atari jacket, the members only jacket. Well, Ballistik, you got it.
Mine, yeah.
Yeah, you got yours. This was like last year when it's maybe starting to get cold out. Now they say they're going to send it, and it's 80-something degrees here in Pennsylvania. I don't need it anymore.
Me too, yeah.
Wow, this is going to be great in September.
I got mine, I'm sorry, but like a month ago. And I think I got it because it was the special edition through the Atari Club. And then other people that ordered their regular jackets are still waiting. And I'm like, that's kind of bad. That's not right.
They've sent me out 2 emails. I think one of them was maybe when I was in the hospital in February saying, okay, make sure your address is right. We're sending it out. Right. It's not here. And then a few weeks ago, they're like, make sure your address is right. We're sending it out. Okay.
I mean, it's been so long now. Is he even alive? I mean,
I might get it to me by the time they need to put me in the coffin there. My wife can maybe have them put that on me.
She's going to bury you.
It'd be a shame they have to cut the back off of it to put it on.
But. She's going to bury you with the damn thing, Poe.
Atari.
She'd probably try to sell it.
Yeah, she'll sell it.
Atari Age, we just finally Sunday night, Albert sent out that new message.
With the 800 games or whatever.
Some people are getting stuff, maybe.
I sent an email to Albert like a month ago saying, dude, I want my orders. He says, I'll be sure they'll be in the next batch. And that was a month ago.
Yeah, stuff ordered from there, stuff ordered from Atari. Sometimes Kickstarter type stuff. I have some kind of game somebody made for the NES. I think that I ordered back in like January. I can't even remember when it was. I know I ordered something, but it's like, well, I thought it would be out by now. I don't know. I'll have to go through my emails, and see. So a lot of times when things show up, it's like Christmas when you're a kid. You forgot you ordered a thing. So
yeah.
All right, guys. This isn't an Atari support group, and we're way off topic and 20 minutes over. And there's 10 minutes left in the hockey game that I want to watch with my boys. So
all right.
I think we're due to wrap this up.
Well, guys,
I'm going to have you on my show, and we're going to do an Atari support group episode. Okay?
Most definitely. I'll be there.
Get a box of tissues, and I don't know. I'll cry about it.
That's good.
All right, guys. Well, listen, I appreciate you guys being here, and this was a really, really good show, and I am so glad that you were able to come on the show, BCB.
Yes,
and I'm glad.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
And hope that you are doing better, that you recover, and that you'll be all right. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. God bless you guys, and we'll see you next time on Retro Bliss Rewind. Take care,
Good night,
guys.
everybody.
See you later. Bye.